Sheriff's race. Now, I'm going to ask you, some of you gentlemen who are seated, to look around. There's a few ladies who are standing up in the back, and perhaps they would like to have a seat. So if there's any ladies who are standing in the back who would like to have a seat, there's a few up here, and you might come and claim those. Okay. Our first two candidates tonight is in the race for sheriff, and of course we have our Sheriff Scott Berry, and we have Trey Downs, who is his challenger. And so we'll start with Trey. Trey, you can make a 2-minute opening statement.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Oconee County Republican Party for hosting this event, and for Blake Giles for coming and moderating this event. I grew up in the Eastville community in Oconee County, and that's where I still live to this day. I went to school in Oconee County. I have 5 children in the school system here in this county. I got it right there.
Get close.
And now Blake, I get 30 extra seconds because you knocked me off my horse.
That's all right.
I grew up in this county. I went into law enforcement 14 years ago and went to work at the Barry County Sheriff's Office, where I worked in the jail, the courthouse security, and as a patrol deputy. I then went to work at the city of Jefferson Police Department, where I worked as a line supervisor and in middle management. For the last 6.5 years, I've worked for the city of Snellville Police Department, where I supervise the investigative division. I oversee 5 detectives, a crime scene investigator, and a civilian employee. I'm prepared to lead this county in a new direction and be a new generation of law enforcement leadership that this county deserves and this county needs. And I am proud of this county. I love this county, and I have the best interests of this county at heart. And I want each of you to know that, and that I will always lead knowing that I'm here to serve you, and I will be there with you and for you. Thank you.
I'm not going to use the microphone. You can hear me in the back. I know you can. I've been in this room many times speaking before. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I wrote down today, but I want to speak to you from the heart. For 20 years, I've served as your sheriff. I was here when the county with population was 17,000. I had 32 employees. I had 6 inmates in the jail the day I took office. Right now, I've got 80 inmates, 88 employees, and a $6 million budget. I've been here through the growth. I've been here through the hard times and the good times. I've maintained a professional level of service to you, and I'm going to continue to maintain a professional level of service to the citizens of Oconee County. If you look for perfection, the last perfect man died on the cross. I can't give you that. I can't give you perfection. I give you my heart and my soul, which you've had for 20 years. I've done a good job. My people have done a good job. We can't make everybody happy all the time. You can't do that when you're in the business of putting people in jail on occasion. But I'm here to serve you. I've served you well. I've served you with honor. And I'm going to continue to serve you for 4 more years. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for those opening comments. I'll start with you, Sheriff Berry. Some of the questions are directed to particular candidates, and if there's a necessary for a response, we'll go to the other candidate. This one is a general question, and we'll start with you, Sheriff Berry. How do you handle confiscated and surplus materials? Is this being accounted for to the county? Is there a special account for it?
Yes, there is. We've got a seized fund account. Everything we seize, including what's now the county shop up on Ray's Church Road, is accounted for. We give an inventory of the county every year. We're required by law to do that. We do it when we submit our budget, and we've got a seized fund account. That account's audited every year. It's been audited every year since I've been sheriff. It's going to continue to be audited.
Trey, how would you handle those types of funds?
Thank you, Blake. I would return those funds to the finance department of Oconee County, so there would be some financial oversight to that account. It is within the purview of the sheriff or chief of police to hold that account in his possession and manage it as he sees fit. But I believe it's more responsible to place that within the finance department of the county and let there be strict financial controls over the use of that money.
Thank you, Trey. Please silence those cell phones if you don't mind, people. All right, this one for you, Trey. A former principal at an elementary school states that Sheriff Berry's response has always been extremely prompt and proactive. How can you improve on that?
What I plan on doing with this county is having deputy sheriffs that will be available to the schools in a liaison capacity. They're not going to be assigned to a school where they're going to walk every day. They're going to become familiar with the principals and the staff and the students in each of the schools they're assigned to. They'll be more approachable by the students and therefore providing another person for the student to go to, whether or not it's for them to tell them that there's drug activity going on or they're just having a problem at home. It's proven that by having somebody in the schools in a more full-time capacity, that'll build a bigger bridge between the Sheriff's Department and the children in our schools.
Sheriff Berry, I think you can respond to that, and it relates to this question here. Would you agree that having school resource officers in Oconee County schools would help lower the drug problem in the high schools and bullying in the middle schools?
I've been sheriff for 20 years. I've known every school superintendent and every school principal. I have yet to have a school teacher, school principal, school board member, or a school anyone tell me they need a deputy sheriff in our schools full time. It's not the job of the sheriff's office to run the schools. The schools run themselves. My wife's a school teacher. I've got many friends in the Oconee County school system. I've known every superintendent since Deborah Hart. And talking about availability, I've got the cell phone number of every school principal on the phone on my hip right now, and most of my employees do too. We talk all the time. I've got an excellent relationship with the schools. I've had an excellent relationship with the schools. And let's talk about drug cases in the schools. I pulled the number between North Oconee and Oconee High School. We had 6 drug cases last year. 6. 6 drug cases in the schools. Thank you. If I could just get
Sure.
Those are 6 cases where children were called. There's a called and then there's the uncalled, unfortunately. And there's those cases where children are selling drugs to our other children in our schools that go undetected that might become detected if there was a school deputy liaison in that school. So fortunately, there were only 6 cases that were made, but unfortunately, there were a lot more cases and instances where drugs were possessed and being sold in the school systems in Oconee County.
Sheriff Berry, this one for you. What are your specific goals to reduce property crimes?
We've had a criminal patrol operations division set up now for 4 years. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great question. This year in Oconee County, we've had 18 burglaries. 18. A significant reduction from the years before. And our patrol operations work. We do a statistical analysis of all our crime activities, and the patrol deputies get a daily list from the captain, their lieutenants, and their sergeants about high crime areas. And there's folks in this room who know what that email looks like. They get it directly from their patrol captain. We work those high crime areas. We dedicate patrol operations to those high crime areas, and we have reduced crime. We're going to continue to reduce crime with the same number of deputies that we have now.
Trey, would you like to respond to that?
I think that's great that there was only 18 burglaries in Oconee County. But I think what we have to do is we have to make sure that there is a proper follow-up investigation on those burglaries that are committed. It's one thing for a deputy sheriff to pull up in your driveway and write a report, and that's what the service they're supposed to provide. But to have a detective follow up and actually come to your home, take pictures, look for fingerprints, tire impression, shoe impressions is also part of that function too. And that's the only way we can try to develop any leads or any suspects is by going that extra mile. And that's the service that you deserve as residents of Oconee County.
Trey, this question is directed to you.
Can I give a response to that?
Sure, you can, Scott.
My deputies catch burglars. They don't need an investigator to come out to do that. They catch burglars. I'm looking at deputy sheriffs in this room right now that have caught burglars. They can do it themselves. They don't Deputy sheriffs don't write reports. Deputy sheriffs conduct an investigation. And they take that information, and there's people in this room right now who followed up on those cases, and they're going to continue to follow up on those cases. Some we can't solve. Some we don't solve. And I regret every one of those. But we try. And we keep the cases open. And every case that's filed in Oconee County is assigned to an investigator. Every case. Even his signs being torn up. Every case. He got an investigator to come out and do a follow-up on his own case. Doesn't have anything to do with politics. That's what we do. Thank you.
All right, Trey, this question is directed